Something you might not know about me is that I get premonition dreams, meaning I dream things and then they happen in real life.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story about a dream that I had in high school. Up to this point, I had never had a nightmare in my entire life. I'd never had something that scared me awake. And I dreamed that I was driving home in the rain through this park near my house, and this bridge had gotten washed out, and I hadn't seen it, and I went into the drink, and my car is sinking into the water, and the water's coming up around my legs, and it's super cold, and I'm trying to remember whether I need to roll the window down or roll it up, and it's like, oh no, I need to roll it down so I can get out where the pressure is here instead of here, and I'm sort of like just trying to get out of the car as the water is coming up around my legs, and I wake up in my bed, and my legs feel wet. And I pull the covers off and I'm like, how did my legs get wet? And they're not wet, they're just really cold. My legs are freezing and I warm them back up and I get feeling back into them. And I go in to breakfast with my family and I tell them all the story of this dream because it's so bizarre. It was even in color, even though it was nighttime. I could remember very distinctly all the colors on the dash of the car. And I tell them this story. It was like the first nightmare I'd ever had. And they're all like, oh, that's really interesting. And then I forget about it the way you forget about dreams. They just sort of fade out of your memory. And a week later or so, I was driving home from my girlfriend's house and it was raining and there were two ways I could drive home. I was usually taking the one that went through the park because it was just shorter. And that night I was like, there's going to be a lot of puddles because it's raining so hard. I think I'll take Ziegler, which is sort of a straight shot up this way and a straight shot this way. A little longer, but very flat, not going to hit as many puddles. And I got home and I went to sleep. And the next morning, my mom wakes me up by throwing a newspaper on my bed. And I wake up and she says, you should read that. And I read it, and at 10 o'clock the night before, exactly the time that I would have been going over this bridge in the park, that bridge got washed out and a truck went into the drink. And there was a whole story about it. And when I made the decision to go the way I did, it was because of just puddles. I just didn't want to drive through a bunch of water. But I think subconsciously I may have been remembering that dream. It's possible that that dream saved my life. I'm a pretty good swimmer. I think I would have made it out of there, but maybe a truck would have come in right behind me and caused all sorts of problems. I don't even know. And that may very well have just been a coincidence, but it's a bizarre coincidence.